On this channel, we talk a lot about travel and transportation. There are many ways one can choose to get around: by car, by train, by bus, bike, or even just simply walking. However, here in America, most people by far drive, whether by choice because you love having your 2-car garage on a sizable plot of land, or you're one of the millions who fled more walkable cities to the Sun Belt where almost everyone has to drive. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the 10 most expensive states to own a car. Someone sent me this article from Forbes where they broke down the numbers in a pretty interesting way. The article will be linked in the description for those who want to check it out for themselves. Hit that like button and subscribe if you love it, as we break down where your pockets will be hit the hardest if you own a car. First things first, the methodology that they use to come up with these rankings. They use 4 expense-related factors in determining the cost of ownership: the cost of regular gasoline, the average repair costs, the average annual cost of full coverage car insurance, and the average monthly auto loan payment. Each factor was weighted equally at 25% to come up with a score from 0 to 100, with 100 being the most expensive in order to determine the ranking of the states. You can find the sources of their data in the linked article as well. Now on to the list. Number 10 on the list is actually a 3-way tie. Texas, Wyoming, and Washington all clocked in with a score of 70.83 on the scale. We'll start with Texas. Texas might be the one that surprised me the most, as it's probably the state with the most roadway infrastructure in the entire country. Highways are big and wide with several lanes and some impressive stacks. They even have frontage roads along most of them. And to top it off, Texas is oil country with gas stations on seemingly every corner in their major cities. Oil derricks and big refineries are all a common sight in many parts of Texas. However, according to Forbes, the cost of owning a car in Texas is higher due to 2 factors: the average cost of insurance and monthly car payments. The average cost of insurance came in at $2,938, good for 8th in the nation, while the monthly car payments ranked as the highest in the country at $668 per month, which, when you think about it, the numbers make sense. With all the driving most Texans do and some of the nasty crashes you might see, it makes sense that the insurance there would be higher than normal. I just spent a little over 3 months in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and experienced more hailstorms in those 3 months than I've ever seen in the rest of my life combined up to that point. And the Houston area itself is also vulnerable to hurricanes and flooding. So the extreme weather in Texas' largest 2 metros likely helps drive up the typical cost of car insurance. On the car payment front, it appears that most people who you see with those giant trucks and SUVs in Texas suburbia are financing, but don't actually own them for the most part. Next up, let's take a look at good old Wyoming. Now, I haven't yet been to Wyoming, but when I think of it in my mind, I see this land of untapped nature and sort of peaceful, serene calmness. With it being a very sparsely populated state with no large cities, it's a place where I expect nearly 100% of the population to have to drive to get around. Forbes says that the factors leading to its high ranking here are the high monthly auto payments at $636 per month, second only to Texas, and a high annual vehicle repair cost at $397.79. Apparently, it's also a state where the people are driving many large, expensive vehicles. Perhaps it's justified out there. Do people in Wyoming haul a lot of materials in their trucks for work-related reasons? Now, the final participant in this 3-way party for 10th place is Washington. The West Coast is known for having a higher cost of living, so I fully expected Washington to be high on this list. Washington is a mostly rural, very large state, with the lion's share of its development concentrated near the Pacific coast. It made the list solely off the basis of its high gas prices, which clocked in at $4.21 per gallon, the 4th highest in the nation. This overall appears to be a trend with West Coast states. Gas, in addition to pretty much everything else, is more expensive if you want to live on the Pacific coast. Apparently, there was a new CO2 emissions regulation that took effect in January of this year, which added an additional 25 cents per gallon to the cost of gas in Washington. Not sure if that was factored into the data presented here, as gas might be even higher today in this state. At number 9, we have Louisiana. Louisiana sits on the Gulf Coast, a prime location for big oil, so I don't expect high gas prices to be a factor here. Instead, Forbes cited them for the car insurance costs and monthly car payments. The cost of full coverage in Louisiana is $3,629 per year, and the average monthly car payment came in at $627 per month. Man, I must be out of touch. When did $600 plus car payments become a normal thing? Everyone must be driving giant SUVs and European luxury cars or something. Factors driving up the cost of insurance in Louisiana are the high density of highways, the large percentage of the population living in urban areas, and above average vehicle theft rates. Interesting. Number 8 is New Mexico. New Mexico came in this high position due to the high monthly car payment at $616 per month. Here we have yet again another state where people are driving expensive vehicles. I was going to say this might be a Western U.S. thing, but Louisiana was just on the list for high monthly payments right before New Mexico. Sounds like more of an American consumerism problem. According to KRQE, the average auto debt per capita in New Mexico is $5,320. Not only that, but the most common auto loan term has gone from 60 months to a whopping 72 and 84 month loan periods. This in turn makes the overall debt even higher. But I guess it's cool as long as one can get that 2023 model, I suppose. At number 7 is a state that I'm quite familiar with, and that is the state of Georgia. Georgia was cited for its high average car payments at $590 per month and its high number of car repairs. Now, we've already seen that Americans are willing to spend insane amounts of money to have modern luxury cars from the other states, so that's no surprise. But the car repairs here is the interesting one. Apparently in Georgia, specifically the Atlanta metro area, which dominates the state, the biggest reason for the cost of car repairs is the high rate of catalytic converter thefts. Typically, the cost to replace the catalytic converter is around $1,300, and they appear to be a hot commodity for thieves around Atlanta. I'm all too familiar with this one, as someone cut mine from under my vehicle overnight, right out of my apartment complex when I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina. Stay alert, my Georgia folks. Coming in at number 6 is Maryland. Maryland has the 5th highest car insurance in the country at $3,349 per year. Some of the reasons for that: Maryland has an unusually high number of uninsured drivers. 14% didn't even have liability insurance as of 2019. Another reason: the amount of people driving in Maryland has been rising, meaning more overall crashes and, of course, more insurance claims. Here in North Carolina, people are required to have insurance to even get a driver's license. Perhaps Maryland should adopt this measure to cut down on the number of uninsured drivers on the road. At number 5 is America's largest state by land area, Alaska. Forbes says Alaska has high gas prices at $3.84 per gallon and high auto loan payments at $583 per month. Now, upon first glance, one would think Alaska is one of America's largest sources of crude oil. Why is the gas price so high? Well, while Alaska is a prime source of that black gold, that Alaskan crude oil is mostly refined in other western states such as Washington and California. The finished product is then shipped back to Alaska for consumption. Crude oil itself is also priced based on the global market, so even though Alaska is oil country, the residents still have to pay typical West Coast gas prices. Moving on up the list, at 4th place is one of the most popular states in America for relocation, the Sunshine State of Florida. To no one's surprise, the biggest factor in Florida is the high cost of insurance. Florida has the 2nd highest average insurance cost in the nation at $4,326 per year. Why is insurance so high in Florida? Well, if you've ever driven around Florida, then you already know that Florida is one of the most dangerous places in the United States to drive. I-4 consistently ranks at or near the top of most dangerous highway lists. Hillsborough County, which is home to Tampa, is the most dangerous county for driving in America. Don't even get me started on some of the insanity I saw driving on I-95 in Miami. Lane diving into the express lanes, speeding in excess of 100 miles per hour, road rage. I saw it all in South Florida. Maybe it's something in the water. Adding to the insurance woes is that pretty much the entire state is vulnerable to hurricanes. In addition to the destruction of homes and businesses, Hurricane Ian recently struck the state and left many a luxury vehicle in a total state. Insurance probably have raised the average premiums even higher in the state since that time. But anyway, on to number 3. Colorado takes this spot. It is cited for having a high auto repair costs, expensive gasoline, and being the 10th highest in full coverage auto insurance. While not on the coast, Colorado is a western state and expensive gas is par for the course, as we have learned. Only 4 other states have more expensive gas, and all of them are on the west coast. Some reasons for high car insurance costs in Colorado include above average number of uninsured drivers on the road, higher healthcare costs in Colorado, and increasing frequencies of severe weather such as snowstorms and wildfires. The final 2 contestants on the list are tied for first, and both are also western states. The first is Nevada. As we should already expect, Nevada has very high gas prices. At $4.24 per gallon, it is the 3rd highest in the nation. Other factors are the 10th highest average monthly car payments at $582 per month, and the 6th highest price insurance at $3,342. Some of the reasons for the high insurance in Nevada: it all has to do with Las Vegas. You see, Las Vegas is a 24/7 city, meaning the party never stops. People can be boozed up at any and all times of the day. Las Vegas has tons of tourist traffic, with people frequently coming and going from other nearby states. Despite the state as a whole being mostly empty, the Las Vegas region is quite dense. So all in all, you have booze, density, tourism, and non-stop activity driving up the cost of insurance for the state. The other number one on the list, the one that should be of no surprise to anyone, the one that you could have guessed before you even clicked on the video, is none other than California. Yes, guys, California sits at the top, along with neighboring Nevada, as the most expensive state in America to own a car. The first reason is the one you can all guess, the high gas prices. Its average gas price of $4.76 per gallon is insane, but it's actually only second highest in the nation. Fellow Pacific state Hawaii takes the number one spot at $4.88 per gallon. Other factors boosting California to the top are the third highest repair costs at $415.66 and having the 11th highest cost of car insurance. To be honest, I'm actually a little surprised that California was outside the top 10 in insurance costs. But let's unpack that high gas price cost. We always hear in the news and the media that California has expensive gas. It's pretty much an understood fact about the state at this point. In October 2022, it reached a record $6.49 per gallon. California is a high tax state all around, and the fuel is not exempt from this tax. California's gas tax is used to pay for the construction and maintenance of roads, as well as the transit systems around the state. It's one of the few places where the gas tax is pegged to inflation, and as such increases yearly. It might be an unpopular opinion, but I think the federal gas tax needs to do the same. Also, with all the smog in California, the state has some stringent regulations on how fuel must be refined for consumption in the state. This adds to the cost of the fuel to consumers. Then finally, California lacks interstate fuel pipelines and is thereby forced to rely on in-state production and fuel trucked in from other states. Other factors include a mysterious gas surcharge from a 2015 refinery fire in Torrance that remained permanent even after the refinery was repaired. Additionally, the oil industry reports that profit margins are higher in California and other western states than other parts of the country. Interesting. Now for some bonus information for you guys. These are the 10 least expensive states to own a car. They are number 41, Kentucky. Number 42, Kansas. Number 43, Nebraska. 44, Vermont. 45, Indiana. A tie at 46 between New Hampshire and Maine. 48, Wisconsin. 49, Iowa. And the least expensive state to own a car is Ohio. Notice that the Midwest makes a very strong showing here. But there you have it, guys, the 10 most expensive states in America to own a car. What can we take away from this information? Firstly, Americans are driving bigger, more expensive cars than ever before. Many are willing to pay higher and higher monthly prices as long as they can walk out the dealership with that car that they want, even with new wild 72 and 84-month financing options, which newer, more expensive cars in turn helps lead to higher insurance premiums. Next, we can take away that living on the West Coast is expensive and cars are no different. The gas prices out west are the highest in the nation, with California and Hawaii topping the list. So generally, it costs the most to own a car in the western United States and the least in the Midwest. Let me know what you guys think. Were you surprised by any of the rankings on this list? Did you like the methodology used, or do you think there was a better way to determine the cost of car ownership? Are you paying one of these higher monthly auto payments? If so, do you think it's worth it? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one, coming soon to a town near you.